Top 5 Boldest Moves by Ibrahim Traoré You Won't Believe Happened. In a world filled with political turbulence and shifting power dynamics, one unlikely figure emerged from the ranks of anonymity to command the spotlight. A man not born into privilege, nor groomed for power, but forged in fire. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a young revolutionary and the youngest leader on the African continent, didn't just take control of Burkina Faso, he rewrote the script on what it means to lead with fearlessness. In an era where diplomacy often bows to pressure, where leaders are told to play it safe and follow the script, Traoré did the unthinkable. He shattered expectations, defied global superpowers, and took bold stances that even seasoned leaders wouldn't dare consider. Whether facing foreign influence, regional instability, or internal dissent, he moved with unwavering conviction and a level of audacity that stunned the world. These weren't just political decisions, they were seismic shifts, statements of intent, acts of unfiltered defiance. From shocking international alliances to standing tall against military coups and foreign interference, Ibrahim Traoré has become a symbol of raw, unapologetic leadership in the face of global scrutiny. So buckle up. What you're about to see isn't fiction, it's history unfolding in real time. These are the top 5 boldest moves by Ibrahim Traoré you won't believe happened. And trust us, number 1 will leave you speechless. Let's dive in and start the countdown. Number 5, attending Ghana's presidential inauguration with a holstered pistol. In January 2025, Traoré shocked attendees at Ghana's presidential inauguration by showing up with a holstered pistol at his waist. This move was seen as a breach of security protocol, especially since he was one of 17 heads of state present. The bold act sent a message of defiance, reflecting tensions with the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, which Traoré's alliance of Sahel states, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, has accused of destabilizing their governments. Wearing a visible weapon in a diplomatic setting was a risky and provocative statement, signaling that Traoré trusts no one and is ready to protect himself. It grabbed headlines and fueled debates about his unapologetic style, with some calling it reckless and others praising his fearlessness. This move wasn't just about personal security, it was a public flex of his military identity and a jab at regional powers he views as hostile. The image of Traoré shaking hands with Ghana's new president, John Mahama, with a pistol in plain sight went viral, cementing his reputation as a leader who plays by his own rules. Number 4. Foiling a major coup attempt and pointing fingers at Ivory Coast. In April 2025, Traoré's government announced it had thwarted a major plot to overthrow him, allegedly orchestrated from neighboring Ivory Coast. This bold response involved publicly calling out a fellow West African nation, a risky diplomatic move that escalated tensions. Traoré has long accused Ivory Coast of harboring his opponents, and this claim doubled down on that narrative. The announcement wasn't just about security, it was a strategic move to rally domestic support and paint himself as a leader under siege by foreign-backed enemies. By exposing the alleged plot, Traoré turned a potential weakness into a show of strength, using it to justify cracking down on dissent and reinforcing his image as a defender of Burkina Faso's sovereignty. The move stirred controversy, with critics arguing it was a pretext to tighten his grip on power, while supporters saw it as proof of his resolve against external threats. Either way, accusing a neighbor of plotting a coup was a gutsy call that kept Traoré in the global spotlight. Number 3. Sacking the Prime Minister and dissolving the government. In December 2024, Traoré made a stunning power play by sacking his civilian Prime Minister, Apollinaire Joachim Kielem de Tambela, and dissolving the entire government. This bold move came without warning and raised eyebrows across West Africa, as it signaled Traoré's unwillingness to share power or stick to traditional governance structures. The decision fueled concerns that he was stalling Burkina Faso's promised transition to civilian rule, especially since Tambela had been appointed shortly after Traoré's 2022 coup. Dismissing the government was a high-stakes gamble, as it alienated some allies and deepened the perception of Traoré as a strongman consolidating control. However, it also energized his base, who see him as a decisive leader cutting through bureaucratic red tape. The move sent a clear message. Traoré is the ultimate authority in Burkina Faso, and he's not afraid to upend the system to maintain his vision. This dramatic shakeup was a defining moment in his leadership, showing his willingness to take risks to assert dominance. Number 2. Building a mausoleum for Thomas Sankara. Traoré's decision to spearhead the construction of a mausoleum for Burkina Faso's iconic former leader, Thomas Sankara, was a bold nod to his revolutionary roots. Designed by renowned architect Francis Carré, the project is more than a tribute, it's a calculated move to align Traoré with Sankara's legacy as Africa's Che Guevara. Sankara, assassinated in 1987, is a symbol of anti-colonialism and Pan-Africanism, and Traoré's push to honor him taps into deep national pride and anti-Western sentiment. This move was audacious because it positions Traoré as the heir to Sankara's vision, rallying young Africans disillusioned with Western influence. However, it's controversial as critics argue it distracts from Burkina Faso's worsening security crisis, with over 60% of the country outside government control and millions displaced. By investing in a symbolic project amid such challenges, Traoré took a big risk, banking on its cultural and political impact to boost his image. The mausoleum has sparked a continental conversation, with some seeing it as a powerful statement of independence and others as a costly distraction. Number 1. Ditching France for Russia and forming the alliance of Sahel states. Traoré's boldest move by far was his decision to cut ties with Burkina Faso's former colonial power, France, and pivot to Russia for security and economic partnerships. After seizing power, he expelled French forces and welcomed Russian mercenaries, including a contingent from the Afrika Korps, formerly Wagner, to combat jihadist insurgents. This geopolitical shift was cemented by Burkina Faso's exit from ECOWAS, alongside Mali and Niger, to form the Alliance of Sahel States, complete with a 0.5% tariff on regional goods. This move was a seismic rejection of Western influence, resonating with young Africans who view Traoré as a Pan-Africanist hero. His alliance with Russia, including high-profile meetings with Vladimir Putin in May 2025, amplified his anti-imperialist rhetoric and drew global attention. However, it's a risky bet. Burkina Faso's security situation remains dire, with jihadist attacks killing hundreds and displacing millions. Critics argue that Traoré's Russian pivot hasn't delivered promised stability, and his crackdowns on dissent, including forced conscription of critics, have drawn condemnation. By aligning with Russia and forming a new regional bloc, Traoré not only defied Western powers, but also reshaped West African geopolitics. This move has made him a polarizing figure, a liberator to some, a reckless authoritarian to others. Its audacity lies in its scale, challenging global powers, risking economic isolation, and betting on Russian support to secure his regime, all while navigating a propaganda war amplified by deep fakes and social media. Why do these moves matter? Traoré's actions are bold because they defy expectations, challenge powerful interests, and spark intense debate. From carrying a pistol to a diplomatic event to realigning Burkina Faso's alliances, he's shown a knack for grabbing attention and rallying support, especially among young Africans disillusioned with Western influence. However, his moves come with big risks. The security crisis in Burkina Faso worsens, with over 2.1 million people displaced and 6.5 million needing aid. His authoritarian tactics, like silencing critics and extending military rule, have drawn criticism for undermining democracy. Supporters see Traoré as a visionary fighting imperialism, while detractors warn his policies could destabilize Burkina Faso further. His ability to turn crisis into opportunities, like using a foiled coup to bolster his image, shows a leader who thrives on bold gestures. Yet the long-term impact of these moves remains uncertain. Will they cement his legacy as a revolutionary or lead to more chaos? Only time will tell. But for now, Traoré's actions keep him at the center of Africa's changing political landscape. Whether you see him as a fearless revolutionary or a controversial figure, one thing is clear: Ibrahim Traoré is not playing by the old rules. From defying international pressure to standing shoulder to shoulder with his people, every move he makes is a statement, a bold declaration that the story of Burkina Faso is being rewritten by fire, by will, by leadership. If you were blown away by these moves, don't forget to like, comment on which moment shocked you the most, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories just like this one. The world is watching. The bold are rising. And this is just the beginning.